Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the December 9th meeting of the Whittier Vocational Regional High School. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We all please rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We can start the meeting tonight with any public comments. Anybody wish to address the, excuse me, school committee tonight? See anybody here? Any of you ladies, gentlemen like to talk, say anything? Okay. So, next order of item is the November 12th minutes of the regular school
Mr.
committee.
Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I move the approval of November 12 minutes of regular meeting.
Second. Any comments, deletions, omissions, or concerns? None being heard, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I abstain, because I was not present.
Abstain.
Abstention? 3 abstentions. Dr. Testaverde, Mr. Bosley, and myself. Anybody else abstain? And Mr. Lesage.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I move the approval of the treasurer's report for November.
Second.
Second. Any questions on the treasurer's report? None being heard, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Mr. Bosley, myself, Dr. Testaverde? Yes, and Mr. Lesage. We have the student report from Mrs. Fox. You have the floor.
Good evening, Mr. Chairperson, Superintendent Lynch, and all of their school committee members. The varsity football team finished their season strong this year with a big win on senior day against Boston's best O'Brien High School. Although the team is losing some of their star senior players, they are confident in the team as many of the strong underclassmen will be coming back next year. The JV and freshman football teams were also very successful this season, giving a great end to their seasons and a positive outlook for the next year. The winter sports season is starting up, and the boys and girls basketball, wrestling, and cheerleading teams are currently holding tryouts and beginning conditioning training for the upcoming season. The environmental club continues to work hard on their daily paper recycling efforts with much success. The coat drive sponsored by the Multicultural Club is now in full swing. They have set up a donation box on the 3rd floor and are welcoming all donations of gently worn coats and jackets. Also, they had a fantastic presentation this month about Pakistan by a sophomore Whittier student who is from Pakistan. The presentation was about the Pakistani culture, language, and traditions and is currently being showcased on the 4th floor bulletin board. The student government will be holding elections for freshman class officers. Candidates will be broadcasting their speeches over the school's private YouTube channel, and the election will be conducted electronically using their iPads. The chess club continues to meet regularly in the library each week. Skilled members have been taking the time to teach newer members strategies and tips. The yearbook staff is diligently working to keep on schedule for the yearbook deadline. They have kept busy taking senior photos at the school over the past couple of months. For the month of November, the peer-to-peer club sponsored a canned food drive. A friendly competition was started to see which homeroom and shop could collect the most items. Auto Technology won by collecting 1,500 items for donation. In total, over 2,200 items were collected and distributed to local food pantries. For the month of December, they will be working on helping those in need for the holidays. One of their projects will be filling Christmas stockings for a local charity. Over the past month, the Key Club volunteered at a harvest celebration and helped to serve a Thanksgiving lunch at the Salvation Army. Later in the month, many members worked together ringing the bells for the Salvation Army at a local supermarket. In the upcoming weeks, the club will be helping serve a pancake breakfast with Santa with the Salisbury Fire Department on December 12th and with the Salvation Army on December 17th. Members continue to individually give community service hours, adding up to 375 hours performed as a group. The robotics team has added a second meeting each week on Thursdays to continue preparing for the upcoming competition. The build teams are now learning and reviewing the safe use of all the tools, as well as being taught the wiring of a robot. The programming team is involved in teaching new teammates about how to program the robots. The media team is working on fundraising and organizing the team records. Finally, the design team is developing designs that may be useful in the upcoming season. The Model UN continues to meet and hold debates at the school. They're continuing to prepare and schedule upcoming competitions. Whittier's chorus is singing in Amesbury for senior citizens on Thursday, December 10th. They will be singing carols for their annual Christmas celebration. The chorus will also be hosting their Christmas concert on December 12th at 7 p.m. in the auditorium. They're currently preparing the program, which includes holiday and secular music. Teachers and students will be working together, playing instruments and preparing sound and lighting. Casting for the spring musical Grease will be posted this week. Over 50 students auditioned this year. We will all be looking forward to this year's performance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Sarah.
Yes.
Excuse me, Saffron, what was the concert that you said was gonna be on December 12th?
The December 12th.
I thought the sign said the 17th.
It is the 17th.
It's the 17th, sorry.
The 12th is the breakfast in Salisbury.
Right, the Santa breakfast.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I just wanted to add.
Yes.
I think it's very impressive, the number of volunteer activities that our students are involved in. And the community spirit is something that is very welcomed and encouraged for young people to give. And it's very, again, very impressive.
I just
Yes.
have a question. Did you hear anything about the hockey team?
I have not
Okay.
currently.
I haven't either. I just wondered if you had. Thank you.
Thank you again. We're now going to take a slight intermission, and I'll head down to see the holiday float.
Oh, yes.
And we came in first place again.
Again.
Okay.
We're in the-
I just want to say that I think everybody feels that
That was
the
amazing.
floats are amazing every year.
Incredible.
The kids deserve a lot of credit. I wish we would pass on admiration for what they do. I know there was a little bit of a skepticism after the art teacher retired last year, but didn't miss a beat as far as I'm concerned.
I would just like to say Celine Susi, the art teacher, did a phenomenal job coming up with the design. The students in the art class worked tirelessly to make that float happen. But it was really, many vocational areas worked together. Electronics, robotics, HVAC, electrical, everybody worked together to make that float happen and make it look as wonderful as it did. So it really is a true team effort. So I want to thank everyone for their work.
Thank you. Very good. Now, moving on to the agenda, we have the superintendent's report. Ms. Lynch.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Today, for informational purposes, I have personnel action, hires of winter coaches. Winter athletics is starting. So that is there in your packet for you. As far as a budget update, we're currently meeting with department heads and administration to finalize department submissions for the FY17 budget. We are distributing a calendar this evening with the proposed dates to meet with the executive subcommittee in the design of the budget. We need a vote to accept that calendar.
So moved. Second.
Any questions in regards to the dates on the calendar?
Budget, the budget calendar?
Yes.
That one,
Right here.
okay.
It's a recommendation from the business manager. Take a moment to look at it. I think March 9th is the annual budget workshop. Is that a regular school meeting night? Yeah. I think you all recall, we switched it to a regular school committee night to do the budget workshop in favor of a Saturday morning, so everybody could schedule their plans around that. Any other questions on any of the dates? Need a motion?
It's on the floor.
So there is?
Covered in my
On the floor. Who made it?
I made it. I seconded.
Seconded it, okay.
Now it's up to you.
Seeing no discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous.
Great, thank you. MCAS update, as of today, we received our accountability data from last year's MCAS scores. While we had incredible individual student growth, we did not move forward with our school-wide goals. As you know, and as we've discussed, it is very hard to continue to make the constant gains needed yearly, as outlined by the Department of Education. As a result, our status has changed to a Level 2 school district for the 2015-16 school year. Be assured, a thorough review of the data has been completed, and a plan has been implemented for this school year. I have every confidence that our students and teachers will continue to work to make the necessary gains needed. While we are disappointed in the Level 2 status, we did receive good news that all the students in the class of 2016 will be receiving a high school diploma and have passed their MCAS requirement. Are there any questions I can answer regarding?
Yes.
Excuse me, why were we downgraded?
Well, if the department sets a certain goal, we are very high, and it's very hard to continue to get higher. And we didn't go higher. We didn't decline, but we didn't necessarily go higher where we needed to go in certain subgroups.
I think the total population reached the goal, am I correct?
Yes.
Right, but a couple of the subgroups did not, and that dropped it into a category 2, level 2. Yeah, that's part of it.
So having 100% of your students passing MCAS isn't good enough?
Exactly.
It's amazing.
Because what happens is they take your yearly gains, and they, on the graph, and we were doing so good that the slope was much higher. But I'm assured by the superintendent that we'll make every effort to have a different outcome next year.
They're already on it.
I'm sure we are.
Do we have a sense of where we stand with respect to the surrounding schools, or in-district schools?
As far as what level status, the information just came out this morning, so, you know, it's early yet. But I think that it's common at this point, when you get to a certain level, to teeter between 2 and 1 and kind of go back and forth. So, you know, I want to teeter to 1 next year, trust me. But there, you know, when you, at a certain point, it's hard to continue to make the gains that we need to make. Okay.
This is a temporary blimp. Yes, Mr. Early.
Superintendent, I want to commend you and your staff for what you've done, and I know you'll go to the next level.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Go ahead.
Superintendent's update, on Tuesday, November 17th, I attended the Merrimack Valley Superintendent's Breakfast at Crest Collaborative in Methuen. At this meeting, the Department of Education reported on the state rollout of district-determined measures, which is a very big undertaking that we've been doing for the last 2 years here at Whittier. On Tuesday, November 17th, I attended the Pentucket Regional School District School Committee meeting. I want to thank Superintendent Mulqueen and Representative Doug Gelinas for allowing me to update the committee on what we're doing here at Whittier Tech. So thank you, Mr. Gelinas.
Thank you for showing up. Yeah. It's great.
On Wednesday, November 18th, 2015, I attended my Superintendent Mentor Program. The focus of the program was working with administrators in developing procedures and protocols for the teacher evaluation. On Wednesday, November 18th, I attended the MAVA Board of Directors meeting in Marlborough. On Thursday, November 19th, I attended the area principals meeting hosted here at Whittier Tech. On Thursday, December 3rd, I attended the Haverhill Rotary meeting at the Haverhill Country Club. They've asked me to become a member of that organization. On Friday, December 4th, I hosted William Page from United Parcel Service and Cal Williams from United Way, and Joe and Michael Bevilacqua for a luncheon. They provided us with a $1,000 donation for the holiday fund drive to provide gifts for students who otherwise could not afford them. So I want to thank them for their generosity. On Monday, December 7th, I attended the Haverhill Violence Prevention Coalition meeting. There was a panel of Haverhill police, guidance counselors, and court officers discussing teen dating violence. And on Tuesday, December 8th, I attended the Massachusetts Association of Real Schools meeting with Kara Cosmas, our business manager. The topic for that meeting was union negotiations and collective bargaining procedures. In your packet, there is a list of donations. I respectfully request the school committee's approval for acceptance of those donations.
Motion to approve.
You know, I can approve them all at once.
Can we do that?
Second?
Second? Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Do we send a letter of,
Thanking them, yes.
we seem to get an awful lot of donations.
Very lucky. Community has really supported many of our
Yeah.
programs.
I think a lot of this comes through advisories.
Absolutely.
Motion on the floor to accept, I think the total amount was, we have the total amount?
2,000,
No, it was more than that.
475?
I don't think we have the total.
It says total value of donation.
Well, that's just that one donation.
That was that one, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 7.
Oh. Okay.
We'll just,
25, 51.
it's around $18,000 roughly. It's quite a compliment to the school.
5 is 12.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Many
Unanimous.
thanks.
Thank you. Also in your packet, the designation of a district chief procurement officer. The Inspector General has asked us to put the chief procurement officer in the delegation files. So I'm asking the school committee for the position of business manager as the chief, as a district's chief procurement officer.
A motion? Mr. Murphy?
I'll second that
Second by
motion.
Mr. Tucker. Any discussion? Any more elaboration on that?
Is this a lot, what's this entail for her? Because she's got a lot to do here.
Well, basically, if, for instance, if we get the MSBIA project, we need to have somebody that is in charge of the funds for the school district. And so that's one of the reasons why this is being brought to our attention at this point.
Have we had a district chief procurement officer before?
We had a name, so we had the former business manager's name, and this way here, we have the position.
It sounds familiar, but I can't.
Yeah, when we did the roof, we appointed the former business manager, a procurement officer. But now they're asking us to have an actual position, and incorporating it all together. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is the
Yes.
establishment of a scholarship. Mr. and Mrs. Gagnon would like to establish the Randall Dwyer Memorial Scholarship. The scholarship is $500 and will occur once a year to benefit a graduating Whittier senior. I would like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Gagnon for their generous scholarship. I respectfully request the school committee's acceptance of this scholarship.
Make a motion to accept.
Motion by Mr. Early, second. I got one question. According to this write-up, this is for, it's not for specific vocation or anything?
No.
So it's for, do they have any guidelines?
They have
or-
some criteria that they
Oh, they
did
do?
forward to us, yes.
And we'll adhere to those?
Yes.
Okay. Any other?
Next, Mr. Chairman, I have an,
All in favor, please
We
say.
seconded it, but we
Huh?
never, we seconded it.
Yeah,
but-
all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous.
sorry about that.
That's okay.
Next is
The
a
record.
a field trip for Okemo Mountain in Ludlow for the ski club, because it's an out-of-state field trip. They will be leaving on January 23rd for the grades 9 through 12.
Move
So I
to
just need
approve.
approval.
Second.
Second. Mr. Early.
We have the proper paperwork signed?
Yes, we will have it all signed.
Yes,
No
sir.
Overnight, or?
It's not an overnight, no.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I have outside projects I'd like to discuss a little bit.
Definitely.
In Amesbury, there'll be a choral performance for the Amesbury Senior Holiday Concert on Thursday, December 10th. In Newbury, Carpentry is doing small repairs to the trash tower at Newbury Elementary. The culinary program will be making cookies for the foster kids of Merrimack Valley. The Haverhill Chamber of Commerce, Whittier donated a holiday wreath for their wreath stroll and auction event on Wednesday, December 9th. And in Haverhill, a request for City Hall to build a 5x8 storage cabinet for the city clerk at City Hall. And those are some of the projects that our students are working on in the community. Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I have another field trip that I need to seek approval for. I know. Another ski club to Gunstock Mountain in Guilford, New Hampshire.
They have snow there?
They will. The date of the field trip is February 27th.
To approve. Move to approve. Mr. Early, a second? Mr. Early, Mr. Irving, excuse me. Any other questions? Yes, Mr.
We
Early.
have the proper paperwork signed?
We will have the proper paperwork.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous.
Great. And that's what I'll have for you this evening.
Thank you. That's quite informative. Next on the business for the agenda tonight is the principal, Mr. Leganis.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Superintendent Lynch, and rest of the school committee members. I just want to say that Whittier's fall sports, the program is complete, obviously, and we're in the swing of things in the winter. I'll find out some information on the hockey team. I see a lot of kids walking around with the Amesbury hockey going on, so there's quite a few kids participating. I just wanted to congratulate the students and coaches and parents for another successful season, sports season, fall sports season, as well as the Booster Club. We talk about volunteer work. The Booster Club put a lot of work into this past season. Whittier was nominated for a District A Sportsmanship Award for last year's 2014-15 school sports season. On Friday, November 20th, Coach Bradley accepted this award for the school at Gillette Stadium. The plaque will be added to the trophy case and display case. I have the plaque right here, and I just want to read a little something. It says, Whittier Regional Vocational Technical High School awarded in recognition of high standards of ethics and integrity in interscholastic athletics. Leadership by example becomes a model for all. So pretty neat. This is going to go into our lovely trophy case down in front. So this award, I can pass it around.
That's wonderful.
Excellent. The tours, as we know, the middle school tours, all the 8th grade students continue. They should be completed by the holiday break. It has been a wonderful opportunity for potential students to see Whittier and to learn what Whittier is all about. The administration and faculty, along with some private donors, began the holiday fund again this year. And this fund will hopefully alleviate some burdens for our students and families. I want to thank all that have donated so far to this fund. To date, we have collected, and this information was yesterday, so this might be a little bit more, we have collected $3,300 and anticipate more contributions being made. I special thanks go out to Elaine Kevkis, Cheryl Began, and the guidance department for coordinating this process from the beginning to the end. So that's all I have for you tonight.
That's enough.
Thank you.
Can-
Yes.
I just am so impressed with that plaque, and I know I'm probably in a small group of people. I would rather have that than all the wins in the world. I would rather be known for that.
And I agree with that, 100%. It was something in Gillette Stadium, if you're familiar with the big board, it was because we're District A, Whittier Tech was on top of that Gillette Stadium jumbotron or whatever they call it. And it was pretty neat to see that, and it was exactly what you said. I really appreciate you saying that. It's a total team effort, like Ms. Lynch says.
It sure is, yeah.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I would just like to say thank you to Mr. Leganis. Yesterday, we had a medical emergency here at the school, and it was very serious, and Mr. Leganis and Mr. Valhouli, one of our social studies teachers, really, in my opinion, saved a student's life. So I really want to thank you. You're both very humble, and I know that you're probably upset with me right now, but I really want to thank you for watching out for the kids and showing great leadership through a really kind of emergency situation here at the school. So thank you.
I thank you very much, Ms. Lynch. And again, it takes a team to make a championship, and that's everyone sitting here, and as well as the entire student body and the staff. I thank you, too.
We all thank you.
Thank you.
All part of the job.
That's it. All fun and games, right? Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Next, we have the business managers report. Ms. Cosmos.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Superintendent Lynch, members of the committee. The superintendent pretty much updated you on the budget calendar, but just to review, it's that time of year when the department heads submit their requests, and then I review them with Mr. Salvo and others, and then next week we will be meeting with all of the administrators and the department chairs, cluster chairs, excuse me, and going over those items. And we have set the dates. There will be a first draft at the first school committee meeting prior to the first school committee meeting in January. We do the second draft in February with the executive subcommittee. And then we have a final budget for you to review right before the school committee meeting in March. And that's when your budget meeting is. And then we do the public hearing the month after. So pretty much on track as we've done in prior years. I do hope that we'll have more firm numbers this year. I've been told on good authority at the state level that the numbers will be coming out at the end of January this year, like they usually do. Last year, you may or may not recall, they came out the first week in March because there was a transition in the governor's office and there was a big budget deficit in the state. So this year, they have assured everyone that the numbers will come out on time at the end of January. So come February, we should have a good handle on where we are with funding and what the cities and towns are going to be responsible for. So we're busily working away in the budget, and I look forward to working with all of you as we go forward. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to wish you all wonderful holidays in the next few weeks.
Same to you.
Anyone have any questions?
I'll take one
Okay, thank you.
if I could.
You.
Thank you, sir. I only have one right.
Moving on to the next agenda item. The chair's report. The January meeting, we have the policy updates. We have a lot of policies. We'll have the variance analysis. And of course, we'll have the initial steps of the budget review. And then we'll take a look at the superintendent updates on your goals. Also, on the, we have any figures on the enrollment figures, any potential
For
January?
January admissions, no, it's too early at this
I
point.
mean, applicants, like, are we,
It's too early.
too early?
Yeah.
Okay, we can wait for that. Okay. Yes, Ms. Testaverde,
We had a treasurer's report. Were we supposed to vote on that?
we did,
We did.
Yes.
Did?
Yes.
yes.
Where was I?
Right there.
Right there.
You were right there in that seat.
I made the motion. You're in iPad land. In the beginning.
Yes, Mr. Early.
Superintendent, you were just, Mr. Chairman, you were just talking about the admissions policy in January. I check that all the time, and I assure everybody that's listening, Whittier does a great job for a lot of those people that do reapply to get in January. And if they do the right thing on the letters they were sent back in the fall, they will get back in here in January. I see the numbers every year. I call about it every year, and I follow it. And they have a great policy here on that, and they have a great commitment to the kids that do apply. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Executive Committee, we have not met. I think we will be meeting on January the 13th.
Can we have it early?
Can we make that meeting a little bit early? 5:30 or so? Those on the Executive Committee. Is that okay?
Yeah, I think we need to make it earlier, because the first run-through, I think we could have
Yeah.
a bit to go over.
Special. Okay. So, is that okay with you, Mr. Superintendent?
Yes.
The January meeting is
January
January
13th.
Before the
13th.
meeting.
Would be at, and everybody's, can attend if they would like, just to get a feeling of what's happening. Okay, instructional personnel, Dr. Testaverde,
Nothing to report at this time.
everything's going good? Okay. Plant operations, Mr. Tucker.
Has not met. I don't know if we need a meeting or I think plant operations running fine.
As far as we know, the treatment plants, we're in compliance,
We're in
we're making the reports and all that.
Yes.
Excuse me, okay. Salary and negotiations, Mr. Burns.
There's been no negotiations, there's been no need for it, so there's no need for a meeting.
Kiddo. Policy, Mr. Early.
Mr. Chairman, I move for acceptance the minutes of November 12th subcommittee meeting. It's in your packet.
Move to accept.
Motion, second by Mrs. Gilbert. Questions on the minutes? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous. Mr. Early.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I move the following recommendations, the 12 recommendations that are in your packet. We read it at the last meeting. This will be the second reading and final acceptance of the policies. So I'd like to take them as a group.
Would you just list them all, please?
Yep, DJE, bidding requirements, GCCD, domestic violence leave policy, JH, student absence and excess, JIC, student discipline, JII, student complaints and grievances, JK, student conduct, EBC, emergency plans, ECAF, security cameras in schools, IJND, access to digital resources, IJNDB, empowered digital use policy, IJNDC, internet publications, JKAA, physical restraint of a student.
There's a motion on the floor,
Motion to accept?
Second.
second. Any further discussion on the, being said, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous.
I
Mr.
just have
Tucker.
one question.
Yes, sir.
Do we ever look into eliminating some outdated policies?
Yes, usually,
We're always adding policies by the boatload.
I think the administration looks through if there's something that's out of date, we try to remove it through us. Also, MESC is basically our consultant at this point. We used to have Merrimack Valley as a consultant for policy. Right now, MASC is, and when they see something that we need or another school is useful to all schools, they let us know. If there's something there that's, like a dinosaur, they'll recommend to take it out, and we do so. Just a quick reference too. The references at the bottom of the pages, if you go back and look at any of these policies, they're doing a much better job of outdating them, the source, the reference, the cross-reference, the Mass General laws, et cetera. So it's becoming more legalistic, but at least you've got all the references in place for all of those policies. So, again, I think we're doing a better job than, I can remember some late meetings here in the conference room at 11 o'clock at night, with Merrimack Valley, not getting very far with it. And I think, in particular, I'd like to commend Mike Gilbert and the MASC staff for keeping on top of policy, state requirements, state laws, and legislation going in and so on. So I thank him and the organization. And that's it, and I don't think we need a meeting. And I think we're really up to date, so even though the agenda item in January is policy, we're probably looking for the next update in policy around May, June next year.
Good. Yeah, well, I think you did a outstanding job in going through all these new policies.
I'd like to thank the superintendent and also Lisa Rand for all her note-taking.
And the only comment I have is that all these policies have to deal with pretty important negative type subjects, discipline and security. But I think we have to realize the environment we're living in, where we have to keep abreast of any potential dangers in the future.
Yeah.
Not something we'll have to think about, but we have to be prepared.
Yeah.
Superintendent, let's just keep keeping this right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Irving. Okay. Now we're done with that. Let me move on to the next meeting date. Our regular school committee will be on January the 13th at 7 PM. It'll be 2016.
Executive subcommittee, it's in 5:30.
5:30 will be the executive subcommittee to go over the first, take a look at the budget, see how it's shaping up. Any new business? It's true.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we get some information, preferably from Mike Gilbert, because he has that expertise, about the district governance program. And what it does is we can choose to get information about, and there's the 5 different subjects, and he can talk about those subjects, and we can choose 1 or 2, whatever works for us. He can come in possibly before a meeting, we're not sure, to do the actual, or someone else I think would come in and do the actual training, our representative. But he could at least talk about this district governance, and the culmination of it is, what happens at the end is you get this handbook that gives every member the information that they need, especially new members. It's really helpful. We got to see this handbook, Elena and I, at the MASC conference, and this handbook was really impressive because it was sequential, and as you opened it up, you could go through each thing, and it was right there, as opposed to when you're on the website and you're looking up information, sometimes you have to switch over to another subject, and I just kind of like the way this works, and it's a little bit more comprehensive, and it helps new members a little bit more and explains things a little bit more, and I think it might be good for everyone to have a copy of this thing. So I'm just making a motion that Mike Gilbert come in at the next meeting, put him on the agenda to just explain what this is better than I can, and how it might help us.
Definitely. Could you contact Mr. Gilbert? And see if he's available, first of all.
Right, I'm not sure, but if we could see if he's available.
I appreciate that.
Just a question on that, how does that differ from the new member training that MASC puts on?
It's specific to our school committee, so it's tailored to this school committee, which I know from some of us who came from districts, like I came from the Triton district, it can be a little bit confusing as to what your role is and what's going on here. It was all so brand new to me, and I felt like a lot of the information was coming at me either verbally or on the website. And what I thought was when I saw this booklet, I just felt like, oh, this is what I would have liked to have had when I first started. It would have helped me answer a lot of questions. I wouldn't have to go and look for the questions. The answers, they're all right there in front of me. So it was pretty comprehensive. The booklet was about this thick, but very good for new members, but also for current members who just want to refer to something real quick. It's like, oh, you just.
I think it's quite worthwhile. Check into that, let me know. Thank you.
We were very impressed at the conference with the presentation of it, and so I just would like the other members to hear about it, and then we can talk about it, make a decision as to whether we think it would be effective for us.
I have the next school committee regular meeting. I think we should go into sort of a short executive session and get an update from the superintendent on, there's been some various, over the past year, legal issues that we've been dealing with, and I think it'd be advantageous if we had a slight update on where we stand, so everybody, we made some decisions on things to do, and we can go into executive session for maybe 5-10 minutes, and Ms. Lynch can update us on some of the results or the progress or what's happening. Yes, sir.
Just another thought of new business.
Yep.
Tonight, we heard of a student having a situation in the school, and that used to happen a lot. In Kentucky, you'd be in the grocery store or something, and somebody would come up, have you heard what happened today? The fire trucks were there. So what they end up doing, and I'm not saying that that's what we should be doing, but just putting it out there for thought, is if there is a injury or a situation like that of some kind, We get a email blurb out to us that this has occurred. There's no student name or anything like that, just, somebody fell, somebody broke their arm, and there was sent to the ambulance, and we're following up. Just so you weren't run into by a citizen or somebody in the store or the mall or on the street. And I didn't know if that was something that we should be doing here, or maybe you feel we don't need to be doing it.
I think that's something we should put on for discussion.
We've received notes in the past.
I mean,
that
I was
something
I was
big is
notified
going on.
of the incident.
Okay.
We would think.
But I have one point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Excuse me?
One point of order.
Yes, sir.
We had a motion and a second on the floor.
Well, I don't think we need a motion for, add something. do
Oh,
we?
I know, I was just being
I
formal.
guess you can withdraw her motion.
I was just being, I was just
No,
being
no, I don't think we
formal.
need a motion to put some, new business here, doesn't require a motion. Any member can ask for something. And it will happen.
All right, well,
Well, I
it's
think we'll-
magical, thank you.
I think we put that on next meeting's agenda, just to get a feel. I don't know if we have a policy on that, or does it require a policy? I don't think so.
There was no policy on the other committee, it was just out of a
Yeah.
courtesy,
Right.
and,
I understand.
I can also appreciate the privacy issues, so
Right.
that's why I'm saying, I'm not asking for a cookie cutter stamp here, I'm just,
No, no.
see what this committee would like to do with it.
We'll add that to the agenda. You got that? Okay. Anything else in the new business? There's no need for the
Mr.
executive.
Chair?
Yes.
I'm trying to remember, but I think when I was on the Triton Committee, when there was any kind of an incident like that, the superintendent always notified the chair. If it was determined that members needed to be made aware of it, then it was the chair's responsibility to contact the members. But that, we were talking about a much smaller group. So maybe it's just as easy to send a note or something, but it is helpful to be aware.
This situation where we had employees at the school rise to the occasion, that's great news. But I mean, that, I think,
I think it's
just for a heads up that there was an incident and it was handled properly, and,
I think it's worth discussing. Yes, Mr. Mitchell.
Bill used to call when something big happened.
Superintendent
I don't know what
takes
I agree, communication's good and privacy issues, but it's, I don't know what the criteria he used, but it helps at least know what was going on.
Yeah. We'll discuss it.
I think,
Are you okay with that?
yeah, just to follow up a little bit, if there was an incident where I feel like the press could get involved or something like that, I would definitely make sure that you're involved, and that was what Bill had done in the past, and I would follow that same protocol and procedure. We, as a school with 1,400 students, we have our fair share of emergencies and allergic reactions and those kinds of things. So, I'm using some of my own judgment to say, this would be something that the school committee would need to know and follow up. Yesterday was we have a lot of emergencies, but we don't have an emergency like we had yesterday. And I really can't thank the leadership of Mr. Leganis and the teacher
That was a
in
medical
classroom. That was a medical emergency, that they really stepped up to the plate and did a phenomenal job for the kids. And I think we all feel safer knowing that there's people like that in our school, so.
That's good to know. All right, now, next, there's no need for an executive session.
Mr. Chairman, move to adjourn.
Second.
I'd like to wish everybody here, thank them for their support. Merry Christmas and Happy
Merry
Holidays.
Christmas. Happy holidays to all.
All in favor of adjournment? Aye. All unanimous. Good evening, good night.